Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to my 15th Flosstube video. Welcome if you are new, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today. I'd like to start off today's video by thanking everybody who left such sweet comments about my kitty Herbie. I read them all and they all touched my heart, and thank you all for your condolences. I appreciate that very much. I know it's been a while since I've been here. I think 2 months, maybe a little more again. I really don't intend to go that long, but it just happens that way. In fact, this video should have happened last weekend. Last weekend would have been the New Jersey Flosstube retreat, and so I really wanted to spend that weekend doing stitchy stuff that would lift my spirits and make me happy, and filming a video was one of those things that was important for me to get done that weekend, and it definitely did not happen. I got everything all set up here on Sunday, and I was waiting for Aaron to get home from work because I was going to film while he was taking a nap. And actually, speaking of which, we may get interrupted. He's out working right now, and I don't know when he'll be back. So if that happens, I'll just pause it, and hopefully I can figure out how to put two videos together. We'll see. Either way. So I went to plug my phone into charge while I was waiting for him to get home, and my phone screen went black and would not turn back on. So we ended up having to make an unexpected trip to Verizon, and I ended up having to get a new phone. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have to go out basically anywhere that's not work, it drains me completely. Aaron does all of the shopping. We're still just staying at home. And we got back from Verizon, and I tried to sit down and do this, and I was just like, could not. So I was like, okay, no big deal. On Wednesday, Aaron was doing a grocery store run, and so I was like, okay, Wednesday after work, I'll come home and I'll sit down and we'll do this. After work, Megan's brain is not equipped to talk to anybody for an hour. So I tried, failed, but now it's Saturday and it's a beautiful day out. It's not insanely hot like it has been. Here in Maryland, it's been in the 90s and humidity, and this past week it rained. We had a storm on Tuesday. Wednesday we had the tropical storm go through. Yesterday we had a big storm with some of the loudest thunder I've ever heard. But right now the sun is shining. Hopefully the lighting will be okay, and here we are. We're going to do this. So going back to last weekend, one of the other things that I really wanted to get done was I wanted to pull out my stash and organize it. I had like these kind of like pop-up like little boxes, and one had patterns and one had fabric, and one had like kitted up projects. And it just wasn't working. My patterns were getting bent, and I could never find the fabric I wanted. I had it like organized by color, and my kitted up projects were overflowing, and so I pulled everything out and I got organized. Well, hopefully I got organized. Hopefully the system will work better for me. So as you guys know, just based on the haul that I show here, I do have quite a few charts. I mean, that's been going on for a couple of years now, so my chart collection is quite healthy. And what I did for those is I got a set of these magazine holders on Amazon. They got little cats on them. I think they were like $12 or $13 for a 6-pack. And so for my charts, what I did was any designer that I had a lot of, I kind of put in their own piles. Like this has got like Kathy Barrick, Liz Matthews, Carriage House, The Good Housewife, and Not Forgotten Farm is in this one. So anything that I had, any designer that I had quite a few of, got separated into their own thing. And then everything else I kind of organized like by style or by subject matter, I guess. So there was samplers, and there was birds, and there was gardens, and there was Halloween and fall, and not just a tiny little bit of Christmas. And so then everything that was left after that was like kind of like sampler. I have a pile of like sampler adjacent things that aren't really samplers but are kind of sampler-esque. And then there was just like pretty pictures. I don't know. So I got all of those organized, and oh, excuse me one second. And hopefully that will help me keep better track of my charts and what I have, and make it easier for me to find the things that I'm looking for. I would love to hear how everybody else organizes their charts. Do you have a system? What do you do? I would love to know. And then I took all my fabric and I organized it by count, which made a lot more sense than by color. I don't know why I hadn't done that before, but what I did end up with was a pretty decent little stack of like mystery fabric I don't know the count of, so I'm gonna have to go through and figure all that out. And then I took my kitted projects and I put them with either the designer or with the subject matter that they went with. Some of the things I unkitted. I did find a small handful of charts that I decided I'm gonna probably get rid of. But it was nice to see that like all the things that I've accumulated, I'm still really into all of them. So that was very relaxing. I don't know, I find organizing relaxing. So that was a lot of fun. Something else that happened last Saturday, and you could almost call this kismet that this little package arrived, was that I got a sweet present from my friend Diana. She sent me this beautiful little ornament and a pattern and a vintage hoop, and you know, like of course things are canceled or being canceled, and for very good reason. But it's, you know, it still sucks. I was still bummed out that I wasn't with all of my friends, and I had met Diana at the Flosstube retreat 2 years ago, and she is so kind and so sweet, and that warmed my heart on a hard weekend. So I have an awful lot to show you. Again, because it's been 2 months, I have lots of whips and finishes and FFOs. Aaron had been making frames, and we got some framing done, but then the heat took over and he got pretty busy with work, so we had to put a little pause on framing for the moment. But we've decided that like after we get this batch that we're working on done, that instead of saving up and doing, you know, 15 or 20 things at a time, we're going to maybe like every 4 or 5 finishes try to take care of them then, so it's not so much. I mean, I don't know, for me framing takes quite a long time. You know, he builds it and then sands it, and I stain it and stretch them and get them in there, and that's time consuming. So I do have some of those to show you, but we're going to start with this big old pile here of what I have been stitching. So when I left you last, I had just started Tilly Fig 1807 by Plum Street. I'm stitching this with Tabitha, who is Cats and Craft on Instagram, and she is a very lovely human being, and her stitching is gorgeous. You should definitely check her out. But here is what Tilly Fig looks like. She had the wonderful idea of starting her on May 17th, which is the date on her tombstone. I do have a Moose Fig that I will be stitching after I'm done with this one. So I picked all of my own colors for this. There's not a whole lot of them, but just from my stash. Ooh, the pretty yellows kind of getting hidden there. And I am stitching this on a piece of 32 count Honey Amber by Seraphim and Dyed Fabrics. That's her card there. And I'm super happy with how this is turning out. Oh, just as a side note, there's going to be cat hair all over everything, even worse than normal. The cat's been sleeping up here on my piles of stuff. So here's where I got to. Oh, Miss Tilly. Also, everything was ironed last Saturday, but after a week of being slept on and stacked up. Who knows the state that these will be in. So that's where I got to on Miss Tilly. I love this grungy fabric that she's on, and I believe she'll come back out in October, and maybe I will finish her up for some dark October stitching. So I worked on her for a bit, and then I had a new start. This is Hold Fast by Hello from Liz Matthews. And I loved this from the moment it came out. Even as a punch needle pattern, I loved it, and I knew that I would want to do something with it one day. And then she released it as a cross stitch pattern, and I snapped that right up. I did use the called for colors, except for one. I had to sub in a color and cotton for the dark purple. But these are beautiful. This, what is it, clamshell right here that makes up the border was super fun to stitch with. And I stitched it on a piece of color and cotton, hand-dyed fabric in the color River Rock, color and cotton. And I hope that this shows up. I don't know that it will. So I started stitching it, and I did not want to put it down, and I did not put it down, and so I finished it. And then I found a frame in my stash that I thought went perfectly. A few years ago, my friend Chris, his mom passed away, and she was an artist, and he gave me a lot of her frames, and this one, just, they had to be together. So here is my finish. Hold Fast. So the color of the fabric is not showing up very well. It's a little darker. It's kind of like mauve-y with blues. But I absolutely love it. That border was a lot of fun to stitch. And this will be going up on my Chesapeake Bay wall over there. There's a couple of things that'll be going up there. So when I get them all hung and that wall kind of rearranged to accommodate them, I will show you guys how it turned out. Also, the other day I was like, Aaron, you have to remind me to stop buying, you know, patterns for that wall because I'm running out of space. Like, we're gonna have to rearrange everything as it is. And he was like, just turn the corner, go on to the next wall. So, total keeper, that guy. Anyways, Hold Fast. Hello from Liz Matthews. Alright, so after I worked on that, I pulled out what I like to think of as my birthday sampler, the Agnes Eland Hick sampler from Canterbury Designs. This is what it's meant to look like. So I've changed all of the colors. The greens and the mauves were not quite my thing. So I wanted this to be like a gray sampler. Gray is my favorite color. I wanted it to be gray. And so I've kind of struggled with some of the colors on here. I'm really happy with how all of my lettering has turned out, but like these little motifs that's like 2 colors of pink, that's got a pink outline. And I haven't quite gotten down this far, but like where these are gonna go, I have tried a few different colors and I'm still not happy. So I'll kind of show you what I've done already. So originally I picked out these 2 skeins of cherry cobbler, clearly different dye lots, put them in, you know, sat with them for a while, decided I didn't like it, took it out. And then I picked, what is this? Crimson from Weeks Dye Works. And this is a Silk of the Month from Silks for You from January. So I picked these 2 colors. And I still don't like it. And I think I'm just kind of fighting with myself because I want this to be a gray sampler. And I keep trying to put like reds and pinks into it. And I don't know why. So next time I pull this back out, I'm probably going to rip all of that out again. And, you know, if my, you know, trees have gray berries on them, then whatever. That's what I wanted in the beginning. So here are the rest of the colors that I'm using. Kind of dark grays that is reading kind of brown, but it's not really. And then just some 310. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count Old Farmhouse linen by Not Forgotten Farm. Either way, here's where I am. Definitely a little wrinkled. These words down at the bottom show up much better in real life. But so I only have that bottom section to go, and I would like very much to oh, I didn't even explain why I call this my birthday sampler. I would like to finish this on my birthday this year. My birthday is November the 9th, and this particular sampler is dated November the 9th. So I did, when I pulled it out, I did this whole section right here. I just have the bottom section to go, but kind of pull it in. You can see like the pinks. I'm just not, it's just still not right. So not sure exactly what I'll pick out, but I'll figure it out. Okay. So after that, I normally start a new piece on the anniversary of my mom's passing, and that was in June. And either something that makes me think of her or something that I think that she would have liked. And so this year on that date, I pulled out this pattern by Collection Tralala, and this is the spring and winter snowmen. And I'm sorry, the spring and summer snowmen. And I did the summer one. My mom loved snowmen, like obsessed with snowmen. When we were going through her things, my sisters and I each got enough snowmen to like fill our house. She loved them, and I know that she would have absolutely loved these little guys. I do have the companion chart with the fall and winter as well. So I thought maybe on dates that were important to her, or maybe each season, I will work on stitching another one. Now for this little pattern, there are quite a few flosses required. So like, oops, all of these, like that's quite a few colors there, and a lot of them are not for very many stitches, and most of these colors are on both of the patterns. So what I thought excuse me, I would do was get some little thread drops and pull out a few strands of each of the colors that are not used that much, and keep them with this project. That way I don't have all of this tied up for, I don't know, it could be a year, it could be longer, who knows. So on Stash and Loading, I found this sweet little guy. I don't know if it'll focus. I couldn't focus my last phone that I had for a long time. Lord knows I'm not going to be able to focus this one. Little snowman, another little snowman, and these little floss drops. So I'm going to organize that with this, and then for the white on this snowman, this is a snow lady. This is not a snowman, excuse me. I used white sulky, and if it was up to me, I would only stitch white stitches in sulky. Definitely. Forever and ever and ever. That was a much more pleasurable experience. So I stitched this up on a piece of 32 count dark natural, and here she is. Isn't she adorable? That's pretty cute. That is pretty darn cute. She's got a little fishbowl. She's at the beach. She's got a little wreath of flowers. That's really cute. And this piece is big enough that I'm going to be able to fit all 4 of them on there. So I'm definitely pleased with how this turned out. Trying to stay a little bit organized. I got a chair over here to hold the overflow. Okay. So on the weekends, I've been trying to stitch on some other things other than kind of the main project that I'm working on. I've had a couple of new starts, and that are secret stitches for exchanges, and just like, you know, finishing up a couple of things. So one of the things that I worked on came from this book, an embroidery book of stitchcraft, simple stitches and peculiar patterns by Gayla Partridge. And I've shown this before. I've stitched that little lamb up there out of this. And the pattern that I completed, I showed this, I think after I started it, but that was a long time ago. I got hung up on one color and then put it down, and then finally I was like, put yourself together. So I did the Palmistry Sampler 2. I don't really know a good way to show this, which is meant to look like that. And here is my finished piece. This was so much fun. It was the beetle that got me stuck, and once I figured out what color I wanted the beetle, everything else was pretty smooth sailing. I did get some pearls, like the picture showed, but so she gives you on the pattern the outline for the main components, and then because this is a sampler, you go back in and fill in around those components with different types of stitches or different motifs that you decide, so that you can learn some different types of embroidery stitches. So that's super fun. I love it. I can't wait to do another one. She's got a couple of different poems. I love just about everything in that book, so I can't wait to get another one started. And it felt good to, you know, like, you know, when you just sit on something for so long, like, why am I doing this? I could just finish it up. And speaking of just finishing it up, that is what I did with this next project. This is my oldest whip. I've been working on it since 2017, and when I pulled it back up this time, it took 4 days to finish. It needed 4 days of work, and it was done. And that's silly. But that's neither here nor there. So this pattern is by Orenco Originals, and it is Mother and Child Detail of the 3 Stages of Woman, inspired by Gustav Klimt's painting. And that is what it's meant to look like. And this has not had a bath and has a lot of cat hair on it, but either way, it's done. Here they are. Hope you can see that okay. I love it. It turned out better than I had hoped. I had never heard of, when I first bought this all those years ago, I'd never heard of that design company, and so I was nervous. You know, this is an investment in time and money, and so I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but to me, it turned out perfectly. Do you guys want to see the back? And that's my back. Erin asked if I would get a print made of the back of this. You can tell, like right there, I did not care. Because he thinks it is just as beautiful as the front. So I'm super happy to have that done. Clearly not a lot of room at the top, but I think that I'll be able to work it out. I can add some fabric to the top to get it framed. And I'm going to frame it up right to that border. So one more time. I love it so much. I don't know, I've got a few other full coverage patterns. I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet to start a new one. But we'll see. I'm not sure. So that was my oldest whip, and getting that done felt really, really good. And so that inspired me to pull out my second oldest whip, which is 99 Bottles by Ink Circles. This was also from 2017, and I've expressed before, this is not my favorite thing to work on. I can't tell you exactly why, like color changes don't bother me. I don't know. Why I did not enjoy stitching this, I don't know, but it doesn't matter because this one is done too. So, also lots of cat hair, and it's a big one. So here it is, all complete. Bring it in a little bit so you can see all the bottles. This took much longer than 4 days. I had the entire bottom 3 rows, I believe, to do. The outlines of the bottles have been done, but I hadn't even finished stitching the shelves. And I think there was a little bit on this page up here that had to be done too. So that's all done, and I can tell I was over this because, look, that last stitch, I didn't even cut that thread off. I just took that needle out, done, 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 done. So it feels awesome to have the 2 of those out of the whip pile. I don't have any left from 2017 now. I do have one from 2018, and that is the Desiderata, and that is not like a pull it out and push through, finish it type project. So I told myself I had until Quentin graduates to finish that, and he will be starting the 10th grade in the next coming weeks. He will be doing virtual learning, so a little bit of time left on that one. The next project that I can show here is I participated in Stephanie Webb Lindy Stitch's her Onward Noble Steed Sal, and I stitched mine on a piece of 36 count lemonade by Color and Cotton. This was a scrap from another project that I'll be showing you in a little bit. And here's how mine turned out. It was super fun. I like dabble in Facebook, like I go on there, but I don't post or anything, but I am part of her Facebook group, and it was super fun to see how everybody finished theirs. So she's riding a dragon, and I used this little dragon to try out, I don't know if you guys can tell, but to try out the etoile, which I enjoyed. It wasn't that bad. The project I'm working on right now has a lot of Kreinik in it, and I don't really mind that either, so maybe I just don't mind metallics too much. I don't know, but look at it. Look how sweet she is. I had a little bit of back stitching to the belly and the tail, but I love this, and I'm going to turn this into a little pillow, I think, for my sweet niece who is turning 6. I can't believe it. Her and her parents are at the beach right now, and I think they're going to FaceTime me later tonight so I can see her opening up her presents, but I miss that little girl. All right, so the last project I have to show you is what I am currently working on. And this was not something that I had necessarily planned on starting, but I had those pretty, at least to me, significant finishes, and this had just been kind of like calling to me, and so I was finally like, you know what? Why not just start it? It was all ready to go. So this is my first Mirabilia, which I can't even believe I'm saying. Like I think I've mentioned before, when you've seen me buy patterns, I'm like, I always said I would never do one of these. Well, I'm doing this now, and I am slightly obsessed. So this is Cathedral Woods Goddess by Mirabilia. And ever since I have started working on this 3 weeks ago, I think, I have not wanted to work on anything else. So this is on a piece of 28 count Monaco that I dyed. I'm not sure if this is going to get blown out. It's kind of a light mottled purple, but yeah, it's a little blown out. But here I am. I've got almost the entire bottom part complete. That's the whole dress is done except for the beads on this side. This side is all done, and I just have a little bit of backstitch and a couple more leaves to put in down here, and that'll be done. And I'm loving it. I am finding it very therapeutic, I guess, to work on, because it is blocks of color, but it is a lot of color, but it is color changes, so it's just, I don't know, it's been very soothing. Like you can see, like there's a couple of silks in there, and all so much crying, which I'm not mad at. I think that the Krynic on the Monaco works out well together, because I can pull my tension a little bit tighter to make my stitches look a little bit neater. So I'm thinking tonight I should be able to actually finish this up, and then I'm gonna put her away for a little bit. I'm not positive what I'm gonna work on next. I've got a couple of books that are calling to me. Garden Vegetables is really calling to me. I think that doing like the outlines of the grid in the center will be nice and mindless for after work when I don't have a whole lot of brain power left. So that might be next. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So the next thing that I want to share with you are some of my FFOs. I stepped outside of my comfort zone a little bit with some of these, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So the first thing that we framed was, I think this is called Bluebirds Play While Kitty Sleeps by Diane Gravener, maybe? I'm not positive. But here it is. I think this is a 18 count Aida that is stitched on, and I just stained this frame black. This looks like this reminds me of my outside cat, Dingus. She is always going after the bluebirds, and the bluebirds do not have any time for her. They will dive bomb her and everything. So, reminds me of old Dingus. Cute. Alright, next is the memorial piece that I did for my kitty Herbie that passed away earlier this year. This is Tread Lightly by Shakespeare's Peddler. See the frame? I just did a dark brown stain. It's got his name. I added Herbie there. So I think I'm going to hang this up above the chair where he liked to sleep. Sorry, I've got to keep everything balanced here. All right, next is Widow's Weeds by Not Forgotten Farm. Again, pretty dark brown frame. I thought that a single line border was hard to do, but this I fought with this one. But it's all done, ready to go up on the wall. All right, and so the next ones that I'm going to show you is where I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone. As you can see, I tend to frame things in dark browns and blacks. That's kind of where my comfort lies. I have, like, just looking around, I can see like there's a gray one there. That one up there is blue, but for the most part, I like everything to be kind of like darker, neutral colors. So the first one that I experimented a little bit with is Skinny Wolf Farm by Barbara Anna. And here's the whole piece. And this, it's more orange in real life. But so I did kind of an orangey color stain, and then I put a like a dark antiquing wax over top of it. But I am really, really happy with how that turned out. I think that the orange really pulls out the bright oranges in that piece. I'm very, very happy with that. And then I got another stain color, and I think it was called Black Cherry. And So these next three, I don't know if it'll show up on film. In real life, they all look different, and they were all stained with the same color, using the same wood. But I can't. I think this was called Marie Journée, 1863, but I could be lying to you. I'm not sure. I do know this was stitched on old linen. I think 32 count old linen by Extra Designs. And here's how it turned out. And this was all sulky. This was, I think, the first time I had ever used sulky, and I loved it. And let's see here. I think the way I stained it, I lost the detail, but there's actually an inlay. You can see it in this frame. Next time he does one with an inlay, I'll do this differently. But very, very happy with how that turned out. This one is, it must have been the Mistletoe by Heartstring Samplery. So same stain, same wood. But I think this one turned out much darker, and I like it a lot. Actually, this was the reason I got that black cherry stain, was because nothing that I had I liked with these purples and the greens. So super happy with how that one turned out. And then this one, this is a piece that I did last year, that I started last year on my mom's anniversary, and this is Mother's Honor Due by Blackbird. So again, same wood, same stain, and I'm really, really happy with how this one turned out as well. This one, have I been saying that about every one of these? I bet you I have. I guess I'll find out. But this one's gonna go live by my stitchy spot. All right, three more. So I also wanted to play with some of the blue stain that I have. I have a lot of blue stain. I originally got it for the Gettysburg Address, and I like the blue that I used there, but I wanted a darker blue, so I mixed it with some black, and so you can see the blue there, I framed up. This is Time Enough by Kathy Barrick, and this is where that piece of the lemonade fabric came from. There's that one. I'm afraid my stack is gonna fall. And this one is actually my favorite one. This is, I believe, Verses on the Death of Lucy Nolan. Yes, I think that's what this is called, Pineberry Lane. And this is another one that hopefully you can tell I did with that blue. And I think it turned out amazing. I love the detail that he added to the frame. And this will be the official start, the real start of my blue sampler wall. All right. Oof, sorry, I gotta reach. The last one I have to show you is the biggest one, and I'm gonna have to stand up and move my chair for this. This one was definitely a challenge. Excuse me. A challenge to frame, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. And that is A Mind Independent and Free by Carriage House. And it's a big girl. Step back. All the way back. Way back. So you can see all of it. I think this is, I'm 5'2", if that's any indication. This is also on 28 count, which is why it's massive. But I love it, and in my living room, there's like a bump out in the wall where a fireplace used to be, and it's gonna hang right there, and it fits absolutely perfectly, so I'll bring it in just a little bit. You see, I just went my normal dark brown. I am super, super pleased with how this turned out. Bring it a little closer so you can see the frame. So yes, I have definitely been busy since I saw you last. I think that's it. That's all of the stitching and the framing that I have to show. So now we're going to get on with what came in the mail. Oh, I did have a giveaway in my last video, and I took care of that with the winners of that giveaway in the comments. So the first things that I'm going to show you that came in the mail are not necessarily stitching, but maybe more stitching adjacent in the sewing realm. I had purchased on eBay some drum pack of Hyde Park by Blackbird Designs, and the seller contacted me and she was like, hey, I've got a couple more of those if you would like them, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then she said, I also have a few yards of their Water's Edge fabric, and if you would like that, you know, 15 bucks, it's yours. And so I was like, yes, please. And so I brought that to show you. It's very pretty. It has like the sample part here, and then it has these beautiful boats on them. Sorry, I know it's all wrinkled now. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. She had purchased it as enough yardage for a quilt back. I don't know if that's where this will end up or not, but I keep thinking about it, so I would like to do something with it sooner than later. I also got 2 other little sewing projects. I don't know about anybody else that had been making masks. I made quite a few, and I really, you know, I hated making them. Like, of course it's necessary and we need them, but the actual making them was, it just like, I guess it just stressed me out, you know, because as you're making them, you're thinking why you have to wear them and what's going on in the world. And I don't know if anybody else got really burnt out by mask making, but I wanted to get some things to kind of reignite my love of sewing and getting back into that. So I got 2 little kits from Never Not Knitting and Sometimes Sewing, which I think I heard about on Julicious Flosstube. I think she had done like a little bird pin cushion or something, but either way I went and checked them out, and so I got 2 projects. First is the Social Stitcher project bag, which will look like that. So it has this little pocket in there with this little sweater, and then you can buy these little scissors that fit perfectly in that sweater. And I did not take this out of the packaging to show you because I had to share like how stinking cute this came. Like, this is how they packaged it. Just have it with a bobbin, little stitch marker. Oh, isn't that freaking cute? And of course it comes with everything and some really great instructions, and I did get little scissors to go in there. These you do buy separately. So I got that, and then I think it might be easier to see on here. They had a little needle book pattern that went with it, and you can do this in 2 different ways. You can do it for knitters or for stitchers, which I thought was pretty cool, so I'll of course do that one. And also it came packaged, it's so sweet, in this fabric, this little sweaters. So I'm excited to start and make these. I'm taking a couple of days off of work at the beginning of September. I'm not very good at taking vacation, like at all, but I make myself do it, and maybe during that time I will work on some of these. So I have my monthly things come in. Let's see, my Silks for You Silk of the Month came in. This was June. This was, whoops, May. And this one was April. All very pretty colors. I had also ordered some time ago a hank of silk. I've got a pretty big project that I had in mind that I wanted to buy a hank of blue silk for. So that also just came in and I was so excited. They sent along a little needle minder. And I hope that the lighting will do this justice. This is, let's see if I can read it, PR 132. Sorry if there's some crinkling action going on there. And it is this beautiful, it's almost like a dark peacocky color. There's like very dark bluey purples, green. This is more green than I thought it would be, but I'm 100% not mad at this. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I hope that you guys can see it okay. But I'm not ready to start that project yet. But every so often I've been going on to their store and looking for blues, and this came up, and I didn't want to pass that up. All right, what's next? Okay, these are my Color and Cotton fabric of the month that had come in. This one was July, which is Pearwood. Very, very pretty neutral. Well, I'm in the neutral, so of course they're gonna be neutrals. And this was Swiss Coffee. This one is a little bit more pinky, definitely, with some kind of beige modeling in it, but you can't tell that on here. All right, I'm gonna hold on to this. So the next, not the next thing that came, but the next thing I'm going to show you, sort of, is something that I had been resisting for quite some time, and finally sometime during quarantine times I gave in. I gave into the temptation, and I joined the French Kitchen Club, I don't know, from the Inspired Needle. And it's been so long since we've chatted that I've actually got the first 3 projects in here, and I'm not going to pull them out because I'm sure you've seen them, and I'm itching to start these, so you'll see them for real soon. All right, I'm gonna save that. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull my stack over. I had put in an order with Kitten Stitcher right before I filmed my last video, so these have been hanging out for a little while. I got this little embroidery kit from the Bee Company called Cat House. This is, I believe, this came out of her clearance section, I believe, but it comes with everything to make this cute little house. You see all the accoutrement. So, got that. And the reason that I went to Kitten Stitcher in the first place was because I believe it was on Stash Unloading. I saw this pattern come up and I was like, I love it. And then I remembered that Kitten Stitcher carried Sheepish Designs, and that is American Beauty. I don't know, on the black with the pops of color, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. I also from her got some black 32 count maybe, and a gray fabric that I can't think of right now. And I keep buying patterns to be stitched on black, and I have not stitched on black since in years, and that was just like 14 count Ada, but I keep buying them, and then I keep buying more black fabric, so I don't know, I hope I enjoy it. But this is calling to me as well. I would really like to start that. Also from Sheepish Designs, I got Sittin' Pretty, and again I would like to do it on that dark gray. And Birds and Berries. like those funky birds. And I also want to stitch that on gray. And the last thing I got from her, I saw Michelle Bendy's been working on this. It's Morbid Pithies by The Work Basket. Always like that a lot. And I always like to check out her charity tab because you can find interesting things. That's where this came from. And it says, beauty is a flower, fades in an hour, and bear in mind your dying day. Cute. And then, what do I have here? Not Forgotten Farm had a sale. And I participated in that sale. It was, I think, 20% off. And I'm not sure if it's still going on. I feel like when I looked the last time it was. The first one, actually, this did not come from her. This was a kit that I got on Stash and Loading, and it is called Garden House Pin Tuffet. And that came with the whole kit. So that's ready to go whenever I am. And then from her store, I got Old Witch Mary, Heart in Hand, clothespins. So this is to make like a little clothespin pouch. And I'm sure, I don't know if any of you use clothespins, but my work clothes I don't like to put in the dryer. I hang dry, and so I do use clothespins, and I would like to make this to keep my clothespins in. Melancholy. I know a bunch of people have stitched that recently. Mary Black's Shoe Pin Keep. When I organized my patterns, I also made a section of things to be turned into other things. It just reminded me. And Nantucket Broom Ride, which is one that Erin picked out. And what I think is really cool, because a lot of these are older, as you can see, like her logo has changed, I think, on every single one of these. Like there's that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, which I thought was pretty cool. How her things have changed over the years. I placed an order with Jen's Stitching Niche. She's got excellent service. And I got some of the Easy Guide ball tip needles in size 26 because I had not tried those before. Has anybody tried these? Do you like them? I mean, I think they're kind of expensive, but I'm anxious to try them out. I also got a piece of 36 count Nantucket Brew from R&R. Pretty, kind of like a light gray. This is Stacy Nash Primitives Red Work Stitching Pocket and Chatelaine. And I thought that would be a perfect stitchy gift for a smalls exchange. And since we've got some extra time now to do it, I thought that would be great. I also got from the Courtney collection black and white, which I don't know that I would do in black, but I liked that quite a bit. This next pattern, it came from Etsy, but I can't remember the seller's name, unfortunately. But this is Mary Claire Carroll, 1738, by Samplers Revisited, and it is the oldest known Maryland sampler. And I think that's super cool. I like the verse that's on it. I wouldn't want to do anything with that. I think the colors are beautiful. There's a lot of cats down here. It's a New Year's Day gift. That's what that is. And this is pretty big. It is 249 by 475, and on 36 count, it measures 14 by 26.5. So that's pretty big. It includes cross stitch, Algerian eyelet, satin stem, back, French knot, straight, long arm cross, and random cross stitch. I don't know where that would be, but it doesn't call for very many colors, so I thought that was super cool. I keep thinking about this one too. but it's so big I don't know that I'm ready to start something quite that big right now. And speaking of something so big, I, like many of you, downloaded Pandemic by Long Dog. 1 second. Sorry, I had a low power notification. Don't know when I would start that, but I think it's gorgeous, and like, what an amazing gift, right? Holy cow. All right, we're almost done here, guys. So in my last video, I showed you that I did one of the Liz Matthews embroidery projects. I can't remember what it was called, but you embroidered some flowers around the end, some around the edge, and some feathers, and you added a key to the bird, and I enjoyed that so much that I ordered another one. Again, look from Liz Matthews. She sends these cute little cards. The one I ordered was Home Sweet Home. Oops, excuse me. It'll look like this. And so let's see, you embroider down here, and the little X's around here, and then you also do the words there. So for somebody that is just wanting to maybe dabble in embroidery, this is not a huge commitment to do that. And this has like a laughable amount of cat hair on it. Like, Bug Kitty must have just wanted to sleep right here. But this is what the fabric looks like. This is how it comes. Like, you guys, look at that. Oh. But this is how the fabric comes, and so you just fill in. So you stitch over that, and then you fill in that basket, and she tells you, suggests stitches to use, and that's really pretty. The last one I did just took an evening. It's not like a huge time commitment, and you get something really, really beautiful out of it. And so when I ordered that, 2 actually showed up, and I messaged her and I was like, hey, I think there was a mistake with my order. I only ordered 1, but I'll happily pay you for the other. Like, it's no big deal. I like that one an awful lot too. And she was like, no, I saw that you were buying these and that you enjoyed them, so I wanted to send an extra along. So she sent me this one. It's called the Crowns. And on this one, you just stitch that big red heart and the crown. And here is how the fabric comes printed for that one. So that was super, super sweet of her. Super sweet. And she also enabled me a little bit. She showed this, or talked about it on her Instagram stories. Maybe she shared somebody else's post. Either way, I know for a fact that I got this because I saw it from Liz Matthews. And this is a punch needle kit by the Urban Acres called Peony, and it's one of her beginner's kits. And I have a punch needle and like a little kind of beginner's like booklet of like how to do it and stuff. But I never had the cloth, and I do own, well, now more than one. I had one pattern. And I thought about it, but I never, really bit the bullet and did it. So I decided I would get this little kit and try it out and see how I actually like it. And I'm sorry for the crinkles, I did not take this out. But this is like a bigger punch needle, and it comes with yarn, and it comes with the hoops, and it comes with the fabric. So I don't know, I thought maybe, a lazy Sunday or something, it'd be fun to try out some punch needles. So I got that, right? And then I needed some finishing things for one of my secret stitches that I'm working on. And I had gotten an email from an Etsy seller called Fiddlesticks, which is actually where the one other punch needle pattern I had came from. And she was having like a 15% off sale or something like that. And so I went on there to see what she had, like finishing wise. And so I got some like rusty bells and some rusty snowflakes and some rusty hearts and safety pins, because I guess that's the look I'm going for with this project. And then I saw that she had fabric for punch needle, and so I got myself one, or some, I think it's a yard or half yard, I can't remember. And then I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna buy that. Probably need another punch needle pattern, even though I haven't actually punch needled yet, because sometimes that's the rabbit hole you fall down. And I saw this weird little stocking called Skelly Stockings, and it was so bizarre that I had to have it. So we'll see what happens with that. Not a whole lot of colors, so we shall see. All right, I think everything that's left is just some charts to show you. Most of these would have come from Stash Unloading or maybe eBay. From Barrick Samplers, I got one tulip. That would be a cute, fun little stitch, and I love tulips. I've been on a Good Housewife kick lately, and so I've gotten some of her patterns. This first one is called Proper Necessaries, Elizabeth Sewing Bag and Pin Cushion. And so it looks like that. You stitch this little pin cushion, and then you stitch this little label here that goes on this little bag. Thought that was super cute. If you remember, possibly from way back when on my last video, I had gotten a few of her cat charts because I thought that they looked like Herbie and reminded me of Herbie, and I continued to do that. So this is the cat sampler. This is S with claws. This is Old Chester. And this one does not look like Herbie, but I thought I could maybe make it look like Bud Kitty. And this is Gracie. It's kind of hard to see that one. I also got the Full Moon Sampler and Seed Bag for Planting by the Light of the Moon. 7 Sailors. I think this is the pattern that had me saying something to Erin about how I need to stop buying stuff for the Chesapeake Bay wall. I think that is gorgeous. 7 Sailors. Never Enough Time. I can't wait to stitch that up and have it up in my kitchen, or maybe that should go in my office at work, because that is how every day feels. And then another project to be stitched on black, Nancy Hers Wall Pocket. Cute. From Blackbird Designs, I got Vintage Bloom. And you can stitch it like that up there, or they have instructions to make this little zippered pouch. This is something that I had wanted for quite some time, and when I saw it come up, I grabbed it. Blackwater Hollow Sampler by Stacy Nash Primitives. It's another good contender for Dark October. Now this one surprised me. I saw this pattern for the Buttermilk and Blue Sampler Sewing Bag. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun and cute and small, and I'll be able to stitch it up super quick and make this adorable little bag. And this thing is 14 inches by 15 inches, 205 by 184. It calls for 1, 2, 7, 9, 14 skeins of floss of only a few different colors to make that happen. So it's much bigger than I thought, but I still think that it is very pretty. From Plum Street Samplers, I got Yuli Long, 1789. I thought this was just different with the bright colors. Super cool, and there's some interesting stuff about the person that's based on the back there. And I also picked up this partial kit on Stash Unloading, also from Plum Street, Cotton Bird. That's really pretty, and the kit that I got came with everything but the floss. The rest of the linen and the rest of the finishing materials. From Chessie and Me, I got another pattern with a cat that looks like Herbie on it, and this is Chessie's House number 1. You can see that little tiny kitty. Also from Chessie and Me, and also with a cat on it, is Gather Thy Roses. And if you remember last time I stitched Gather Thy Tulips by a lot of people sent along freebie charts recently with my orders, which was super cool. One of the freebies I got was a furry schooler, a cute little one, and I had also picked up some of the prairie fairies. I've got a little garden wall in there, and I would like to have these up there with them. This is 95, 96, and 97. From, is this it? Wait, 1, 2, 3. All right, from The Needle's Excellency, I got the Molly Ransom from the Ohio Historical Society. Nice pretty sampler. Here's the original. From Exemplars from the Heart, I got my sister's sampler. It's got 3 sisters there. And I am one of 3, and it says, "Nobody said because we are sisters we could not also be best friends." So that was really cute. And the last one is one more sheepish design, and that is the hedgehog sampler. And I thought this was so strange that it had to come up with me. Look at that weird hedgehog. That's it. All of the things. More than an hour. I really like these videos to be a lot shorter, but I recognize that in order to do that, I would probably have to film a lot more often. So I would say that I'm going to try to do that, but I don't know if that would be a true statement or not. I hope everybody's been doing okay. I know the world is tough and scary right now, and a lot of things feel out of our control, and I just hope that everybody's taking care of themselves and each other and wearing their masks and washing your hands. And I don't know, it's just all so much sometimes. But I hope you're well. We're hanging in there here. You know, it's been tough. This year has been tough for all of us, and we can all just take it one day at a time. So I think that's it. I feel like I'm gonna start getting rambly, so I'm going to get out of here now. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and it's not too hot or too cold wherever you are in the world. And thank you all, and I love you, and bye.